able to hear me properly, guys?
Yes, we can hear you. Good,
Oh,
thanks.
okay. Hi, Gurpreet. Hi, Mohan, Rakesh, Jaswinder, Ramesh, Akshay. How are you all?
Doing good, thanks.
I'm good.
Okay.
Okay,
Hi,
what about?
ma'am.
Hi, everyone.
How
What
have you
about?
been, ma'am? We are good.
I'm all, I'm also oh good. How about you, Akshay? How are you?
Yeah, hello. Hi, ma'am. I'm also good. How are you?
I'm also good too. All right. In the last session, we have discussed about the detailing, what we are covering in the sessions for the decor batch. So today we will be going to start from the scratch for this batch, all right? So I'm here to assist you today about the data center switching protocols. So let's have a look for it, and let's have a look for it first, and then we can deep dive into the detailing part. So how many of you have like joined the previous session which we have it for? The demo session we can call this as.
No, I think I have not joined.
Actually, ma'am, I have joined, but I lived in 5 to 10 years. Actually, I have a misunderstanding that
Okay.
our batch is not started yet.
Okay,
So
okay.
that's why I leave that session soon.
All right. No problem. It's fine. All right. So let's move ahead with the talk and let's have a look for the detailing part. So what I'll just do one recap for 5 minutes what we have covered in the last session and then we can start with the work. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So let's get started. I hope my screen is visible, guys. Please update once it's visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
All
Yes.
right. Perfect. Okay, so what we have in the last session as a discussion it's for, like we have discussed about how you can implementing and operating the Cisco data center core technologies, right? So in this section, in the whole session, you will be going to cover about the decode that is 350601 series as of code, all right? Other than that, we have also discussed about the course outline, the topics which we are going to cover in the sessions, right? So the topic number one, which we are going to cover today, not fully, but yeah, a little bit of amount we are going to cover today for the topic number one. So the time, according to the time, we will be going to manage each and everything, right? So here, the topic number one was you're related to the data center switching protocols you are going to learn like FTP, rapid PVST, VPCs. These are all the parts which we are going to cover today. All right. So the topic number two, this is the whole detailing part for the course. Topic number two was related to the first hope redundancy protocols, in which you will be going to learn about the HSRP, VRRP part, right? And the rest of the part, how you can implement the routing in the data center, multicasting in the data center, overlay protocols. Okay. So one thing I would like to tell you there, like the lab scenario comes under this section. Okay, so the scenarios which we are operating as a live environment that will become under the topic number 5. So when we are there, we will be going to implement this out, how we can just perform the VXLAN configuration and all the part. But in the demo, I have already showcased you what we have as a part for this. All right. So the rest of the part you will be covering parallelly. So this is the course outline, okay, the topics which to be covered, and then it's gonna be extended to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 also. All right. So in the 7, you will be going to have a look for the ACI infrastructure. We will be going to describe you about the building blocks, VMM domain integration. Along with that, you will be also having the look for the packet flow in the data center network. Along with that, you will be also going to explore about the deployment models that cover in the TCOR section. All right. And then we can also look for the troubleshooting management and the operations part for this scenario. So this is the information about your course outline. Now let us talk about the lab outline part. So in the lab outline, so these are your particular labs which comes under the decor section, right? So the first lab will be your configuring of VXLAN environment, right? So for this lab, you have to jump to the section number 5, then you will be able to perform this lab scenario, because if you have the knowledge about the first to four sections, only it be possible to have the look for the labs. That is the topic number 5 we have it for, all right? Then other ones you will be going to explore when you are performing the course outline parallelly along with the other ones, right? You will be able to implement the TANET policy, integration with the VMware. So these all are your labs which we are going to cover in this TCOR course, all right? So these are your lab outlines which you are going to cover. So now we will be going to start our work, that is with the implementing Cisco Unified Computing System Security. So first of all, I want to know from you guys, like how much familiar you are about this course. What do you have a fair understanding about this course? What do you think for this? Yes, guys, please respond.
See, I am actually pretty much comfortable with these components. I've been working on these from last couple of years in my data
Mm-hmm.
center.
All right.
So pretty much using the computing system,
Mm-hmm.
UCS servers. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I'm not across is about the ACI and the
All right.
VXLAN.
Okay, so your experience was totally into the UCS. You're currently working as
Yes,
a like corporate employee, right? But you would like
yes,
to learn the ECI, right? But we will be going
yeah,
to start from the scratch, right? So
yeah.
I will be, you will be also happy to share some information about the working criteria of yours, okay?
Mm-hmm,
And the other
mm-hmm.
participants will be also happy to listen, right? So
Yep.
yeah, it's good. Thanks for sharing the information. You already have the fair knowledge, so that's great. Okay. So
Yeah, I
anybody,
just have the overview. I'm not like I don't have the detailed knowledge, I would say.
all right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in this course, you will be having some detailed knowledge about each and
Mm-hmm.
everything. So once you
Yep.
want to do the recap or anything, you can do it like this way. All
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Okay. So any other participant would like to state some points related to this course? Yes, guys. All right. So let's get started with the work, right? So in this course overview, I would like to tell you the DCOR course, okay, you will be going to learn about the implementation of the data center network and the storage components. All right. So if we just have a look for the focus of this course was totally for the implementation part and where we are working with the storage components. So let's fix this up. Storage components and data center network, if we talk about the machine architecture, so what could be that one? So that will be cover your Cisco Nexus MDS switches, Cisco UCS B series blade servers, and the C series rack servers. Okay, the course focus was related to that. That is the first point they are highlighting it for. All right. This secondly, you will be going to understand and implement about the Cisco LAN, SAN, data center unified fabrics, computing solutions, how to manage and monitor the complete infrastructure of a data center. Along with that, in this section, you will be also having some exploration related to the automation and the security part. All right. So this is our course focus that is related to it. Other than that, if we look for the some specifications related to that, what this course is designed for, then definitely I would like to happy to assist you that if you are looking for preparation for the CCNP data center certification, so this course is best suited for you. But you will be not count as CCNP professional, but we have to give one more collaboration exam with it. So that is your DCACI advanced. With the DCOR, you have to give one more exam, that is DCACI 1. After that, you will become the CCNP professional in the data center part. Okay. Is it clear up to there, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right, perfect. So
One thing,
during, yes,
sorry to interrupt you. Meanwhile, HCI is it not a part of data center? No.
it is a part we will be going to have a look a little bit, but for the detailed course, for the advanced part, you have to go for the DCACI one. But
Ah,
both the exam, if you do as a collaboration, only then you will be count as CCNP data center professional.
okay, got it.
All right. So now let us start with the very first topic. Okay, so that is your how you can implement the data center switching protocols. So let's have a look for it first, and then we can deep dive into it. All right. So today talk is related to the implementation, implementing data center switching protocols. All right. So this is your section number one, which I'm going to discuss today. Okay, and we will be having the understanding for it. What is it all about? Let's highlight this thing. All right. So I would like to tell you, like when this picture hit on our mind, like data center switching protocols, then what we have in our mind? Obviously, when it we talking about the switching STP, we will be having in our mind, right? Or we will be having a rapid PVST, okay, or we will be having VPCs, right? So that could be the detailing part for it. We're going to cover it. Okay. So when it's come to the switching, only thing will hit in our mind when we talk about according to the CCNA, CCNP or CCI level, if you can look it for, we will be hitting the STP in our mind, right? So in that particular scenario, implementing the data center switching protocols in order to support the high availability. Okay. In order to support the high availability within the layer 2 domain. Okay. So what device we are going to use, guys? Tell me. Yes, guys. Which device we are going to use under the layer 2 domain section?
Later switches.
Yeah, perfect. So we are going to use the switches, right? So in order to support the high availability within the layer 2 domain, you will be working on switches. Why you are working on switches? Because switches are normally interconnected with what? Using the redundant links. They are interconnected using the redundant links, right? So when we talk about the computing nodes, right? Computing nodes. Let's talk about there the computing nodes. So computing nodes basically what they have the dual home connection to the switches. Okay. So what I have just concluded from this conversation is that in order to support the high availability in the layer 2 domain section, you will be going to work on switches. Why you are working on switches? Because switches are normally interconnected using the redundant links. All right. while the computing nodes, they have the dual home connection to the switches part, right? So in this scenario, under this section that is implementing data center switching protocols, you will be going to learn about the STP, that is your spanning tree protocol. All right, that is your spanning tree protocol. You will be going to understand about the rapid PVST plus also, that is your rapid per VLAN STP. So why we are going to learn these two scenarios? Because under this section, if you learn both of the scenarios, right, STP and the rapid PVST, you will be able to build what? You will be able to build a loop free logical topology. Okay, so when you have the redundant paths in your network, you will be able to fill the loop free logical topology. That is why we have these two scenarios in the data center under the switching protocols. All right, so when we are talking about the switching protocols, then obviously these two will be playing a major role there in order to get the loop free logical topology for the same. Okay, understood up to there, guys?
Yes, clear.
Okay, now let us talk about the in the section number 1. Under the section number 1, you will be also going to learn how you can configure what? You are going to configure the port channels, and along with that you will be going to configure the virtual port channels as well, right? So when we are talking about these two terms, configuration of the port channels along with the virtual port channels, why we use these two things? Can anybody state?
Port channels, I think, for more throughput and redundancy. And in port channel, we do not have loops.
Okay. Any other one? What do you think for the in order to configure the port channels
Bet-
along with the BPC?
Better throughput. Along with that, we get the redundancy. And the VPC, we have two management plan as well as the redundancy we are getting.
Hmm. Any other ones?
Bundling of the switch ports.
Hmm. Okay, so I'll receive various responses. So let me autocorrect and highlight it for you. Under this section, you will be going to learn how you can configure the port channels and the virtual port channels. That what they do, they bind several interfaces. What they do, they bind several interfaces in order to provide the fault tolerance and the high speed links between what? High speed links between the switches, routers, okay, and some computing nodes, okay. So what if we just look for this representation? Let's say this is the router, this is the router, and this is the router, right? So what I have just did, they will be going to bind the interfaces, so combinally VPC, configuring the port channels. So in order, you will be going to learn what? Configuration of the port channels along with the BPC, so that you can bind the interfaces together in order to get what results? Fault tolerance. And they will be also going to provide the high speed links between the switches, routers, and some computing nodes. All right, understood up to there? Clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's move forward now. Now, STP. How many of you know about the STP? As much information you can share, you can share. Whatever you know about the STP. You all are working professional guys, or somebody is here, it's fresher who has joined the call. Yeah, yeah,
So
share your.
STP is basically a layer 2 protocol, which basically we use for loop avoidance in a layer 2
Mhm,
network.
mhm,
And like it's so what else? So basically, how it do it? Basically, they are it's basically select three steps. Like first, it select the root bridge, then
mhm,
root port will be elected, then
mhm,
designated and not designated, and blocking will be there. So this is
mhm,
how it do the like put the one of the port in the blocking state to avoid the loop. It has a convergence of 50 seconds, means 20 second will be blocking time and 15 will be listening and learning
mhm.
time. This is what STP.
Okay, all right. So when we look, okay, you share the information that is related to STP, that is particularly perfect and fine. Any other one would like to tell me some information related to STP? Yes, anybody know about STP, something new? So they can share. Yes, yes, Puneet, Abhas, anybody? Gurpreet, yeah, I
The
think you
main
have word.
purpose is to prevent the loop in L2 since there is no TTL value in the L2 config.
Okay. So now I just frame a question. Okay. I have just talked related to the STP now. Now I'm just giving some frame question to you like STP in data center environment. You're talking about the STP, that is particularly fine. The working criteria would be the same one. What if we have the STP in the data center environment? Then how we can look the STP as it for? Can anybody would like to state?
We will configure at the lowest value in ports and more priority on the spine or leaf like that.
Okay. All right. So let me tell you the correct detailing for it. Okay. So thanks for your responses and thanks for the participation because I want to know your knowledge also so that I can just assist you what you are working if particularly domain is there related to data center environment. So what you are working for that particular thing. Okay. So there itself. Let's talk about this thing. So STP when we have in the data center environment, okay, you will be having the several alternatives for it. Okay, you have several alternatives for this STP that is available in your data center. Okay, STP, I know it is a fair popular technology. I know that it is a popular technology, right? In data center environment, and it is also correct like it is a layer 2 control plane protocol. Okay, so it's a layer 2 control plane protocol. We also know the device that runs on the switches, right? All right. And I also agree with you that STP is responsible to do not create loops. Okay, because you have there what you will be having the redundant paths in the network. All right. So STP You have the several alternatives to the STP in the data center environment. So when we talk about the STP featuring part, okay, so STP features where we can look into the devices. So STP features generally you can similar to that Cisco Nexus platform are similar to the STP features that you perform on what? Cisco iOS platforms, okay, which include generally a number of enhancements so that this STP functionality will be good. A little bit of changes they have just did in order to get the good functionality there. All right. So now let's talk about the several alternatives we can use in the data center environment for the STP part. So the first thing which hit into the picture, that is your rapid PVST plus. So let's talk about it. Okay, so how many of you familiar with the rapid PVST? What is it? Yes, guys, how many of you are familiar with the rapid PVST?
Yeah, this is per wheel and spanning tree. We can configure road bridge and
Mm-hmm.
road bridge
Mm-hmm.
for different wheel.
Okay. What about others, guys?
Spanning tree running for every villain on basis of villain.
Okay. All right. Anybody else would like to share the information? What they know about it?
And convergence times are less compared to other spanning traditional classic spanning tree.
Okay. All right. So let's have a fair look for this. Okay. You are somewhat correct. Some way you are just mixed up with the information, but yes, you are sharing the some related to this information. That is fine. Okay. So let's talk about the rapid PVST overview first so that you can get the clarity vision for it. Okay. So when this thing hit in our mind, that is we call this rapid per VLAN spanning tree plus. Okay, what we call this PVST, you should everybody should know about it. I'll just write the full abbreviation for it. Rapid per VLAN spanning tree plus.
Hello, Action.
Okay,
Hello,
plus
Action.
plus this is the thing which I have highlighted. Okay. So
Hello.
yes, tell me.
So I have a 2 years of experience in the
Okay.
networking.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, I'm just asking, we have Amazon data center, Microsoft data center. So all these data center implement these concepts.
Yes, we can. If you're willing to do, if you are operating in the data center, then obviously you can do it. So
They use Cisco devices,
yeah,
Microsoft
you
and
have to
Apple.
use like whatsoever we are like discussing today, whatsoever we will be going to discussing throughout the session, it will be all related to Cisco devices, not any other devices from any other vendor.
Now, every data center use this concept or equipment.
Yes, 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 yes. Every data center they are using this concept. Yes,
Okay, thank you.
welcome. Okay, so rapid per VLAN spanning tree plus. Okay, this is your updated version. Along with that, it is provide you the faster implementation of STP. that allows you to create what? They will be going allow you to create one STP for each VLAN. All right. So this rapid PVST plus, it is the default mode. It is the default STP mode where you will be able to see this mode where you will be able to see this mode in the Cisco Nexus switches. Okay, so it's a default mode of the STP in the Cisco Nexus switches series. All right, so it is a rapid PVST plus it is enabled by default. Okay, where you know everybody that is by default the VLAN number one. Okay, this is the default VLAN. So this is enabled there. All right. So it is enabled by default on the default VLAN 1 on all newly created VLANs in the software. Okay. So what this rapid PVST is providing us, right? So rapid PVST, it is providing us the rapid recovery. Rapid recovery of what? Rapid recovery in terms of connectivity. Following what? Like if we want a rapid recovery, guys, in terms of this scenario, what could be the scenarios there? Can anybody state what kind of rapid recovery we want from this section? Tell me, guys.
If one link goes down, other will take over.
Okay, one link, yeah,
Fast
we can say.
convergence.
Yes, tell me.
Fast convergence.
Fast convergence, perfect. What about others? Where we want the rapid recovery?
Link flap.
We can say this one also. Okay, so let's give the highlighted visions for the same. So obviously rapid recovery of the connectivity, it is required following what? When there is a failure of switch, right? The main thing which happen generally, anything could be happened to the switch, right? So it's gonna be provide you the rapid recovery, faster implementation if you have the failure of the switch, or in the switch, you know, we have the switch ports also. So if any of the port is considered to be as failure, so they will be going to provide you the rapid recovery or the LAN. Okay, so these in these three scenarios, they will be going to provide you the rapid recovery in terms of the connectivity with the devices. All right. So now let us have the fair vision for this in the terms of one representation. Is it clear up to there, guys?
Yeah, but I have one question
Mm-hmm.
in this topic. Let's suppose I have a two switch A and switch B, and both
Uh-huh.
switches are connecting with using two cables. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now suddenly what happened? Something went wrong. Maybe the malfunctioning or something went wrong. My one
Mm-hmm.
port will flap, um,
Mm-hmm.
going up and down, this kind of state.
Mm-hmm.
There is any aging time, or there is anything we can prevent if suppose in within a 30 second or within a 1 minute, my
Mm-hmm.
port will goes up and down like 2 to 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
So there is any mechanism we can prevent or maybe block.
Yes, yes. See, so what happened? The normal PVST rely on the use of older 8021D. Okay,
Mhm.
but STP, they reconverge the STP domain in the case of any link failure. It's there. Okay, so we will be going to understand this scenario with the help of like representations. Okay, so let's say this is your scenario which you are talking about, right?
Recording in progress.
Are you able to see that? This scenario you are talking about?
Yeah, correct.
Correct. So I have framed this picture there. All right. So I want to just tell you about the same. So you just generally ask me, so I just frame the picture and then I'll going to explain you. Okay, so let's talk about this thing. So in this representation, what you are observing there, as the candidate demands for this question, we have three switches, switch 1, 2, and 3. Block forward, they are going to represent this as short abbreviations, right? And we have the primary link fails, okay? And if the primary link fails, then PVRST plus performs the failover. So I'm going to highlight this thing in terms of it, all right? So you know that our STP, that is your rapid spanning tree protocol, okay, that we call this as IEEE 802.1W, okay, that represents what? They represents the evolution of this,
Rapid
that is
STP.
IEEE, no, IEEE 8021D standard, okay. So this is the evolution of particular thing, okay. So in this terminology, when we look into that, that is 802.1D, okay, in this terminology remains basically unchanged, okay, unchanged in the 802.1W. So as we do, most parameters make it easier for users to configure the new protocol, okay. By doing this, so they will be going to make easier for the user, so you can create a or configure a new protocol. But when the comes picture for the per VLAN spanning tree, that is your PVST plus, okay, so they will be allowing you to define the STP instance per VLAN, okay. So normal VLANs, they what they relies on, so normal PVST plus, they relies on the older use, that is your 8021D, okay, STP, this is the older one, okay. And the STP to reconverge the STP domain, okay, in the case of any link failure has been happened, okay. So they will be going to reconverge it and performs the failover part. So rapid PVST allow the use of 8021W with Cisco PVST in order to provide what? The answer for your particular question is the faster convergence per VLAN. Understood? Understood up to there?
Yeah.
Okay. So Cisco Nexus switches support both the scenarios, PVST, multiple spanning tree. So you can either run rapid PVST or MST on the switch. But one thing you should remember, you do not run both the things simultaneously. Okay. One by one. All right. All right. So now let's have a look for some more detailing for it. Okay.
But ma'am, I have a one query. Let's
Yeah, tell me.
suppose my primary link for few seconds it's
Mhm.
down. Okay.
Down. Okay.
Now
Yeah.
it's come up after few seconds, maybe 2 or 3 seconds. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
When it will goes down, so my
Mhm.
alternate path will be become a primary path, correct?
Correct.
But after few seconds, that port will up.
Mhm.
It will become a primary path, correct, ma'am?
Correct.
So it same task will happen 2 to 3 times in 1 minute. So
Mhm.
my traffic will never understand what's happened, or maybe the something went wrong in my environment, or maybe due to this reason my traffic will block, or maybe the switch will be hampered, because
Mhm.
every few seconds my STP election will generated.
Okay.
BPDU send the packet
Right.
to
Mhm.
DP sorry a root bridge switch, and
Mhm.
it will forward that, and root bridge
Mhm.
switch will forward those BPDU information to every switches, correct, ma'am?
Correct. Correct.
So these kind of information every few seconds,
Mm-hmm.
RP received, root bridge switch will receive, and it will
Mm-hmm.
also send the every switches.
Mm-hmm.
So there is any mechanism, if any, let's suppose my primary source
Yes,
is
yes.
going
Yeah,
down.
there is a mechanism. So what you can do, it is recommended that you can avoid using switches that you can only run known rapid version of STP.
What do you
So
mean by
with
the
this,
known?
so we will be going to cover this afterwards. What is it all
Okay.
about? Okay. So yeah, is it clear up to there? Like if with this thing scenario will happen, so you will be having the failover
Yeah,
as
yeah,
a
I know the failover.
okay.
Uh,
All right.
one quick question.
Yeah, tell
What
me.
was the main reason to introduce the RPVST plus when we already has a PVST?
Okay.
The
So
only
this
reason was for the fast conversion.
yeah, actually in between your like background voices are too high. Hello.
Yes, Suresh. Hello.
Actually, background voices is too high from your end.
That's coming from Suresh. Are you mute, Suresh?
Hello.
ఎక్కడికి వెళ్తారా కాదు
Suresh,
కూర్చో
Hello.
ఏమైంది
Hey
చైతన్య
guys, kindly mute
ఏమైంది
yourself.
ఏమైంది
Hello. Okay, so let's talk about the other things in detail so that afterwards maybe you'll get the fair idea what we are talking about. All right. So let's go with the flow. All right, guys.
My question was that why we need of PVST plus RPVST plus when we already had a PVST plus. It was only just because of the fast conversion.
Yes, right.
Then
That
what's
is
the
why
difference
we have this
between the
Mhm.
STP and PVST plus?
STP
I
and the
think
PVST. Yeah.
I think what I understand from our PVST is it runs on Cisco switches only, and it provides faster convergence. I think there are two prime reasons for using our PVST. Runs on Nexus. I've not seen rapid spanning in other switches. I mean, apart from Cisco,
So if we have Huawei and Cisco, so we cannot run
I won't
PVST
run.
plus.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
So in that case, what we will be using?
Abbas, your voice is also too low in the
No,
conversation.
I'm
Okay.
saying if we have Huawei and Cisco
Mhm.
switches,
Mhm.
so what mode of STP we will be using in between? If we cannot use RPVST plus since it's a Cisco proprietary.
Mhm. Okay, so basically, I told you, Bas, though in this sessions, we will be going to work on the Cisco products itself, right? So there is no discussion with the other products there. All right. So
No,
let's,
no, no.
yeah.
My concern is if we
Mhm.
have Cisco and Huawei
Okay.
in
So both
between,
the ones here. Mhm.
yeah.
So for that, you will not run non-rapid version for STP. You can run the simplest version. If you encounter this situation when you are connecting your Nexus switches to some other one, so you can enable the non-rapid version there of STP.
What is
Okay,
the
because
secret?
yeah, because you will encounter this situation when you're connecting the switches of other vendors. Okay, because the Nexus switches they receive 8021D bridge, that is BPDU on a port, right? You will be going to revert that legacy mode of operation on that particular port itself. So it is recommended that you avoid using switches that you can run only with the non-rapid version of STP. So let's frame this thing. So I think that will be more clear with you when we are highlighted with this thing. All right. So let's talk about the other vendors if you are asking this. So, all right. So let's frame this thing. Okay. So what you are talking about, let's say we have the Cisco Nexus switches. All right. That will not run non-rapid version of STP. Okay. So, however, these devices, what they support interoperability with switches. Okay, interoperability with switches that are running on the non-rapid STP. All right. So when you encounter some situation, let's say this is your situation, right? So when you encounter some situation when you are connected to a Cisco Nexus switch, all right, to a Cisco iOS switches, okay. So you will be going to enable the what you will be have to enable the non rapid version of STP. Okay, or more often, let's say there is one more situation. Okay, you will be going to face one more situation. So at that moment, when you are connecting to the switches for the other vendors, like say you have told about Huawei. Okay, so what you can do, see, you encounter the situation when you are connecting to the Nexus switches, to the Cisco iOS switches, you will be have to enable the known rapid version of STP. Okay, or more often, if you encounter one situation when you are connecting to the switches of the other vendors, then what is there to be happening? Then Cisco Nexus switch, they generally receive the BPDU on that port, on a port, right? At that moment, they will be going to revert the legacy of 802.1D mode of operation on that particular port. Okay, so it is always recommended that if that you avoid using the switches that can only run the known rapid version of STP. This scenarios you are talking about, these two situations. Now it's clear, guys?
I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me. Actually, your voice is too low. Abhas, I think you are. HP. Okay, yeah, tell me.
Ankur, this.
Ankush, yeah, tell me.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If we connect Nexus with other vendor like Huawei, uh,
Mm-hmm.
what are the convergence timing? Convergence timing.
Okay,
Is
so
it same or
actually,
it will use?
it depends. Actually, different. It's depend accordingly, the timer part. Okay. So we will be going to cover that one also according to the timer scenario under the timer section. We will be going to discuss later on about these detailing also for it.
All right.
All right. So now we will be going to understand about the default spanning tree mode on the Cisco Nexus switches. If it is gonna be changed, then what is gonna be happen? How you can revert to the rapid PVST, which with commands, what you can do, okay? All right. So let's talk about something in detail. Okay. So there is one thing I would like to tell you if you want to see the detailing for the, let's say, STP extensions. Okay, so what they are. Let's talk about the STP extensions now. Okay, anybody is having the idea about the STP extensions? Anybody know what is STP extensions? Yeah, tell me guys.
This port fast, uplink fast, that one fast, correct?
Okay, what about others? Any other ones would you like to highlight?
No
Yeah,
idea.
port
No
fast.
idea.
Okay, okay. So when we talk about the Cisco STP extensions, so what they do, Cisco has added, okay, extensions to the STP. All right. So one thing I would like to know from you the reason why they have added the extensions to the STP. Anybody tell me?
Fast convergence.
So for
Fine tuning.
everything the answer is fast convergence. No.
Ma'am, day by day,
And
security and environment is changing. Every day,
Okay.
technology is changing. So the
Mm-hmm.
STP is very old protocol. So
Mm-hmm.
on this protocol, like CST, it's a very old protocol.
Mm-hmm.
It will not. By default, it has only one instance. But in
Mm-hmm.
PVST and RSTP, and you can consider as a
Mm-hmm.
MSTP, you can create multiple instance.
Mm-hmm.
So day by day, technology is change and data center requirement is change. So that's why we are
Mm-hmm.
add features in STP.
Okay. So your answer is perfect, but I would like to know the reason particularly, like why they have added the extensions to that STP, that Cisco product.
Every time something goes wrong, election process,
Mm-hmm.
all
reduce
will
the
take
timer.
time. That's the reason.
Okay.
Simply fine tuning, right?
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now let's talk about it, the reasons first. Okay, so Cisco has added extensions to the STP in order to enhance the loop prevention, first of all. Okay, the protection also against what? Against the user configuration errors.
Mm.
Okay, and provide the better control over the protocol parameters whatsoever the new ones has been added or something like that, so better control over the protocol parameters. So for these reasons they have added the extensions to the STP. Now what are the extensions of this STP if we just frame as an example? So what could be the available extensions you have for the STP currently? One candidate has tell that port fast. Yeah, it's correct. It is the extension
BPDU
of
guard.
STP.
BPDU
BPDU,
filtering, BPDU
perfect.
guard, root guard,
Yeah, yeah. Port fast, one by one, please. Port fast. Okay, available extensions for the STP covers the port fast, which we called as spanning tree edge ports also. Okay,
correct.
right? And BPDU filter. Along with that, you will be having one candidate that
BPD
told
BPDU
guard.
about
guard,
the guard, right? What else? The other one?
root guard.
Root guard, perfect. What else?
What else? So right now I have only four.
One you have left with loop guard also.
Okay.
Okay. Loop guard and the bridge assurance also.
And what
UDLD
about the
will
UDLD? There is coming in the STP or UDLD?
UDLT we can't count as extension in STP as for now because all these extensions can be used with both rapid PVST and MST bar.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So these are your examples for the STP extensions. Okay. So now explore the first one, that is your edge
The
port
last one, what is the name? Bridge?
assurance.
Okay.
Bridge assurance. Okay. I know my handwriting is not up to the mark, so let me write it here.
Ma'am, if you have a notes kind of now, like the PDF, so you can
Mhm.
definitely share. for
Yeah,
each of the.
definitely. Yeah, team will get back to you for the same, but for the learning and for the configurations part, you can just have the screenshots for these ones if you would like to. I think it's a recorded session, so you can watch anytime.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, I will be giving you the notes also because for the better understanding and clarity, team will get back to you for the same. Okay, all right. So now the STP extensions we have just covered. Now we will be going to explore these things in detail. What is it all about under the implementation of the data center switching protocol? So that once our STP part is clear, only then we can work on the port channels and the VPCs. All right. So now let us explore the first point, that is STP edge port. So let us explore the STP edge port in detail. All right. So, how many of you are familiar with the STP edge port? How many of you know about it?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so can you just tell me a little bit about it?
The edge port we can use on that port, the directly a server or maybe the
Uh-huh.
VM or maybe the
Uh-huh.
storage devices are connected.
Okay.
It's
Mm-hmm.
just like a port fast in traditional, you can say the enterprise switches like
Mm-hmm.
Catley switches, we are using post fast. The same work in edge port.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anybody else would like to tell something related to edge port?
Oh,
STP is not election. It will not part of the STP election when you enable the edge port. So it
Okay.
will not involve in STP election.
All right. I think somebody also want to share, Rakesh. Who is
Okay.
this?
when a
Who is
port
this?
comes up, it is immediately put in the forwarding state.
Okay. All right.
So,
I welcome all the answers. So now let us understand the STP edge port. All right. So what happened? Let's talk about this thing in detail. All right. So when you are configuring what? Obviously, when we are here at the switching, we will be going to configure the layer 2, right? So when you are configuring the layer 2 access port, okay, which we call this as a spanning tree edge port, okay, you can say this one STP edge port. All right, so when you are configuring the layer 2 access port as a spanning tree edge port, what they causes the port to bypass the spanning tree listening and the learning states. All right, so in order to move the forwarding state immediately, okay, so this feature was formerly known as the port fast. All right, so spanning tree edge ports are typically deployed where they will be going to deploy at the layer 2 access ports that are connected to what? That are connected to a single workstation or a server. All right. So these ports are considered safe from the topology loops. Okay. So this design will allow those connected device in order to what? In order to access the network, access the network what? Immediately. Without what? Without waiting for what? Without waiting for the STP convergence to take place. Okay. edge ports there, they do not generate topology. So these edge ports there, they do not generate the topology. Okay. In order to change what? In order to change the BPDU when the link state changes. Okay. So which help what? Which help them to reduce the STP processing edge ports, can either an access port or could be a trunk port. Okay. So note there is one thing. If you are enabling the STP tree edge port feature on the port that is connected to a switch, okay, you might indifferently creating a bridging loop. Okay. So this is the detailing about the STP edge port. All right. So how you can use that in order to look, if you want to look for this interface, so that on particular this switch, what you can run, you can just select the interface. Let's say this switch is connected to this switch with the particular interface, that is Ethernet 0/0. Okay. So you can use the following commands if you want to configure the STP. Anybody know how to configure the STP edge port? Anybody know the commands?
Yeah, I know, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Now just go inside the interface,
Okay.
config terminal and interface ETH or 1.
0/0. Let's select this interface. Okay. Now how you
And
can configure the edge port?
then let's say if
export
you
port
are
fast.
configuring as an access or trunk, you just configure it,
Mm-hmm.
and after that you just, where there is one command,
Yeah, tell
the
me.
And we
command
take
Export
is
port fast.
spanning tree port type edge.
Yeah, spanning tree.
Spanning tree port type edge.
Perfect. Okay. So this is the particular command for the same. That is correct. All right. So in this way, you can use the following command if you want to configure the STP edge port on an interface. All right. So now let's talk about if you want to secure that STP edge port with the BPDU card, how it's gonna be happen it do it so right. So we will be going to understand now about how you can securing the STP edge port with BPDU card. All right, guys. So let's have a clarity vision for it. Okay. Up to there, everything is clear. Yes, guys. Shall we move forward with this?
From my side, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So now we will be going to explore securing the STP edge port with the BPDU card. All right. So I would like to know, anybody know what could be the working scenarios for the BPDU guard? What does it do generally? What the
Generally,
BPDU guard? Yeah.
yeah, generally if it will protect the network to
Mm-hmm.
unauthorized switch by
Mm-hmm.
using disable that port. If suppose someone connect, let's suppose in port number 1 someone connect switch without my permission, or without no one's know if any switches is connected or not, so that time
Mm-hmm.
we are using to secure our network.
It's a wise planetary election.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, you are somewhat correct. Yeah, Rakesh, you have the real-time exposure for the devices. That is why you know each and everything there. So you are like correct there. All right. So let me tell you the detailing factor of it. So
Mhm.
BPDU guard, they generally protect the integrity. Okay, integrity of the ports. So BPDU guard protects the integrity of the ports. That is what? That is configured. That is configured as what? As the STP edge ports. All right. So BPDU card protect the integrity of the ports that are configured as the STP edge ports. Okay. So let's say if any so let's say if any BPDU is received, okay, if any BPDU is received on a STP edge port, okay, so what this port is going to be do? The port automatically put into what? They put into an error disabled state.
Madam, could you please repeat again?
Yeah, sure, guys. So see, the topic is related to how you can secure the STP edge port with the BPDU guard. All right. So under that BPDU guard, what does the BPDU guard will do there? They will be going to protect the integrity of the ports that is configured as STP edge port. So see, this port is configured as the STP edge port. All right. So if BPDU packet is received on the STP edge port, that port generally what it do? They put that port into the error disabled state. Understood? Okay. They put that into the error disabled state. So what happened? The port is shut down. Okay. Or and it must be
What is the
manually.
integrity of
Yeah.
port?
Yeah. Tell me. Yeah.
What is mean by integrity of port?
The accuracy, you can say, the protection part of the integrity of the ports, how much accurately they are working in that scenario, which is configured as the STPH ports in the particular switch. Okay, understood?
Little bit I didn't understand actually.
Yeah, once you frame the whole picture in your mind, at that moment you are able to understand. So let's go with the flow, then you can understand. Okay, so what
Sorry.
I was telling there, see, when the PPTU is received on the STP edge port, okay, that port put into the error disabled state. Okay, the first point. The second point, the port is automatically going to be shut down and must be manually re-enabled. It must be manually re-enabled or automatically recovered through the error disabled timeout function. Okay, so you can see this BPDU guard should be enabled on all STP edge ports. Okay, you can see this representation, it's there and it is connected to the workstation. So let's see this pictorial representation what they are telling to us. You can enable the BPDU guard globally. You can enable this guard globally. Okay, on all operational spanning tree edge ports. Okay, so you will be using some command in order to configure this out, all right, on a particular interface, how you can do it. So all right, so let me, you should always enable the BPDU guard on all the ports that they are going to configure at the STP edge ports. When you enable this BPDU guard on all the ports, they will be all configuring as the STP edge ports. Okay, and this kind of implementation, what this kind of implementation is going to give you the result, this kind of implementation will prevent adding a switch to a switch port that is dedicated to an end device. All right. So this is the detailing for it. Okay, how you can secure the STP edge port with the BPDU guard. Okay, so it's a protection part there. You can protect the integrity of the ports. Firstly, you have to configure all the BPDU guards as a STP edge ports there. Once BPDU is gonna be received there, they will be going to put this in the error disabled state. The all ports in gonna be shut down. Either you can must be manually or re enable the recovered with the automatically part, and then once it is enabled you will be going to explore that BPDU guard globally on all operating edge ports. Okay, so you can prevent adding a switch to the switch port that is dedicated to any of the end device. Now I would like to know the command from you, from your side guys, if anybody know how you can use the command if you want to enable the BPDU guard on that particular switch. So what could be the command for it? Anybody knows?
For globally, ma'am?
Yeah, for globally.
Yeah, the just go inside the just type config terminal and then
Okay.
spanning tree port type
Mm-hmm.
as BPDU default.
Okay. All right. So if I want to enable the BPDU guard on the interface, so what could be that command for it?
Particular interface.
Yeah, particular interface. Let's say this
Just go
interface.
inside the interface and then type spanning tree BPDU guard enable. That's it.
Perfect. Yeah. Spanning tree, BPDU guard, and
Enable.
you have to write enable. Perfect. Okay. So with the help of this command, you will be able to frame this scenario, how you can secure the STP edge ports with the BPDU guard. All right. Clear up to there, guys? Clear up to there?
Yes.
Okay. So now we will be going to understand about the BPDU filter now. Okay. So let's understand the BPDU. Previously, we have understood about the how to secure the STP edge port with the BPDU guard, right? Later on, we will be going to also understand how you can protect the whole STP topology with the root guard also. Okay. So before that, let's explore the BPDU guard in detail. What is it all about? Okay. So what is BPDU filter? Sorry, I'm talking about the guard. So it's filter. Okay. So what is BPDU filter? Anybody knows? Yeah, guys. Anybody knows? Allow me a moment, guys, please. Yes. Anybody knows about the BPDU filter? Anybody would
BPDU
like to
filter
share the
generally, ma'am,
information?
It will.
used to prevent the receive and send BPDU guard.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can we send the BPDUs on all the ports?
All the ports by default. It's
Mm-hmm.
by default. STP will send a BPDU packet all connected port.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to prevent, we can, yes, by using BPDU filtering we can prevent.
Right. So this is the scenario. That is why we have the BPDU filter. Okay. So perfect. So now let us explore the BPDU filter. Okay. So BPDU, as Rakesh, I think Rakesh is the name of the candidate, they have told the BPDUs are sent to all ports, right?
अच्छा यहाँ सारी में अच्छा ना
I think somebody has unmuted. Please mute yourself. Okay. So BPDUs are sent on all the ports. Okay. Let's say this is the switch and it's gonna be sent to all the ports. Okay. Including what? Including the edge ports also. All right. Including the edge port also, you should always run. What you have to run? You should always run STP if you want to prevent the loops. Okay. So, but there are some cases. Okay. There are some cases, special cases, we call this as, where you need to, what could be the case? Where you need to prevent the BPDU from being sent out. Okay, so there are some special cases in which you have to prevent the BPDU in order to send out. All right. So how you can achieve this thing? Obviously, you can achieve this thing with the help of BPDU filter. All right. So with the help of BPDU filter, you can achieve this thing, but you have to follow some guidelines for it also. Okay. So BPDU filter, what it do, they will be going to allow you to avoid, they will be allowing you to avoid what? Avoid the transmitting BPDU on ports that is configured as the STP edge ports. All right. And that is connected to what? That is connected to the end system. All right. So usually used as a workaround. So anybody know this term? What do you mean by the workaround?
Alternate option.
Alternate option. Some way correct. Any other one?
Alternate option for the timing.
Okay, we can say like this way. All right. So usually they will be going to use as a workaround. Okay, feature there. So you do not use a BPDU filter unless you need not to use it. Okay. So one example you can configure the BPDU filter as, so we will be going to frame one example with the help of one representation. So it will be more clear to you what is BPDU filter, how it's gonna be work. Okay. So let's explore this thing.
I guess one quick question. Are we going to
Yeah.
perform all this in the lab?
Yes. So I told in the starting, I like we will be going to perform the labs part under the starting from the fifth section, that is underlay protocols of yours. So I'll just explain one more time. Okay. So under this section, you will be going to explore the detailed labs. This one, the topic number 5, data center overlay protocols. All right.
Okay.
From there, we will be going to perform the labs. All right. And these are
So
your labs
for the
outlined.
initial four topics, there will be non-lab.
Yeah, for the initial 4 topics, it's all related to the understanding of it, all related to the description part for it. After that, you will be having the labs, and after the fifth section, because if you have the fair knowledge on that, only then you will be able to explore all the lab environments.
You mean the STP, VPC, all this configuration we'll be doing in the section 5.
Yeah, in
This
the
is what you mean?
section 5, yeah, in the section 5, you will be going to explore each and every lab. Like it is all related to it, like what we are working, what we are doing it. So with the topology, you will be having the fair look on all the ones. But after that, fifth section, because before the fifth section, if the things were not clear to you, you will be not able to understand any of the lab. You will be not able to perform it also.
Okay. One more question. We have
Yeah.
not gone through the hardware architecture. Will it be
Mhm.
covered? Because we
Yes,
are not
yes,
aware
yes,
about on
yes,
which
yes.
devices we are going to
Yeah,
work.
that all it's gonna be covered in the lab scenario. The hardware architecture, real-time scenarios, you will be going to explore. All things will be there.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. So now let's talk about this thing. Okay, so here itself, what I have just did, like I will be going to frame one example that is related to the BPDU filter. Okay, So let's say this is the one part. This is the one part of the customer network, and this is the another part of the customer network. Okay. So what you have to do? You have to configure BPDU filter, okay, in the where in the company network. Okay. So if you have the company network, in the company you will be having the multiple administrators, right? And those administrators, they do not want their network to share BPDUs, right? So although this implementation practice is a poor choice if you find it in the real life situations. Okay, so this following figure illustrate a topology that can benefit from the BPDU filter option. Okay, so this figure illustrates a topology that can benefit from the BPDU filter option as well. So see over there how you can enable the BPDU filtering globally. Okay, so how you can do this? So you know the command, anybody knows the command how you can do it? So if you
Yes, ma'am.
want to configure, yes, tell me.
Spanning tree BPDU filtering enable.
Okay, so with that particular interface you can enable the command. What could be that? You have to select the interface, let's say ETH0/0, and you can hit the command that is spanning tree BPDU filter enable. Okay, so this is the functionality of the BPDU filter, and they used to prevent the BPDU start. All right, now we will be going to explore about how you can protecting the STP topology with root guard. Okay, so anybody knows about how to protect the STP topology with the root guard? Anybody would like to share the information for it? Yes. Yes, anybody would like to share some information? How you can protect the STP topology with the root guard? How you can protect it? So tell me.
This method we can use to
Mm-hmm.
prevent root bridge,
Mm-hmm. Right.
because if someone
Mm-hmm.
maybe the change the root bridge
Mm-hmm.
switch, so on that time automatically STP will election will generate.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. What about others? Would you like to frame how you can protect the STP topology with the root guard?
Um,
Mm-hmm.
when we configure root card, the
Mm-hmm.
interface receive the superior BPDU. It
Mm-hmm.
will block the interface and keep the uh,
Mm-hmm.
which switch is configured root card as a root bridge.
Right. That is perfectly fine. Okay, so let's understand this thing in a more detailed way. So what happens? See, when the STP is calculated, okay. So when the STP is calculated, all switches determined as a loop free best path. Loop free best path where? Towards the elected root bridge. All right. So what you have to consider? You have to consider on defining a root bridge. Defining a root bridge in a way where you have the maximum bandwidth. Okay, that is available in the topology. So let's explore one figure in order to understand this thing in detail. As one candidate already framed the answer, you can just block one, you will be getting the results. Okay, so for that, let's explore this thing. See, in this figure, what you are observing, we will be having the switches. Okay, so switches would be your these ones, DSW and DSW2. Okay, these two switches are the core of the network. These two switches are the core of the network. All right, and DSW1 is the root bridge for the VLAN 1. All right, and ASW is your access layer switch. This is your access layer switch. All right, and the link between them, like the link between the DSW2 and the ASW, okay, so is in the blocking state. Okay, it's blocked on where it's blocked from the ASW side. So from this side they have blocked this particular link. All right, so in this way you have to configure the root guard for both these two switches, DSW1 and DSW2. So let's say when, if let's say if ASW become the root bridge, let's say it become the root bridge, okay, then what happened, the link between the DSW1 and DSTW2 will be blocked and not passing the traffic. They will be not going to pass the traffic. Okay, so this behavior, it is clearly unwanted since all traffic between the since all traffic between the core switches must now go through the ASW and an access layer switch. Okay, so when you enable the root guard on these two parts, okay, on a port, you will be root guard, what it do, how it's gonna be protected. So root guard, once you configure the root guard on both these two switches, then the root guard does not allow that port particularly to become the root port. Okay, once you configure the root guard there. All right, so if the root guard enable port receives the BPDU, okay, that would make this port as a root port, then what is going to be happen if you configure this out, then the port will be moved to the root inconsistent state, and then it will be not going to forward the traffic. Okay, so how you can enable the root guard on an interface, let's explore this thing. Anybody knows how you can configure this out?
Ma'am, root card configure on which interface? The ASW side or
Yeah, this
DSW?
one, these two, DSW1 and DSW2, you have to configure the root guard there, not there ASW side.
Okay.
Okay,
All the ports, like if let's suppose I have a multiple ports, one,
so
two,
on
three,
an interface you can just do that particularly.
the connected ports.
Yeah, connected ones like
Between if let's
the
suppose
Ethernet.
ASW1 and ASW2, those are connected. Those port also.
No, 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 no. You have to configure the root card on these two ones. Yeah, yes, yes, yes. On both the ones also. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Okay, both one also.
yeah. So do you
Because
know
in
the
this
command for it?
scenario,
Okay,
DSW will be the root bridge, correct, ma'am?
right.
Okay.
Okay. So do you know the command, Rakesh, for the same? How you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
configure the root card?
For the global spanning tree guard route,
Mm-hmm.
and for the particular interface,
Mm-hmm. Let's say we select this interface ETH0/0.
yeah,
This is the one. So how you can configure the root card on an interface
uh,
with which
uh,
command?
spanning tree,
Yeah,
root
spanning
guard,
tree.
sorry, root, sorry,
No.
the command is, yeah, spanning tree, guard, root, yeah. This is
Right.
the command.
Yeah, perfect.
Guard root.
Yeah, guard root. This is the perfect command for it. Okay. So in this way, you can configure this out. All right. You can use the following commands in order to enable the root guard on the specific interfaces. All right. So we have covered so far about the detailing that is related to the STP part. All right. So now we will be going to explore about the things that is related to the port channels. But before that, I would like to ask some questions from you. So like how could you understand about this thing? What could be this thing? All right. So
Can you,
one thing I would like to highlight
before
here. Yes,
move, can you just explain little bit the BPDU
bridge
assured
assurance.
and also the
Yes,
loop?
that is one I'm going to cover now. Yeah, bridge assurance I have left with now. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have left with one thing I have just hit in my mind, that is bridge assurance. Okay. So this bridge assurance feature, what it do? Okay. First of all, I would like to tell you that bridge insurance feature is applicable with rapid PVST, T plus, and with MST. Okay. So
Okay.
is an extension of the idea, is an extension of the idea that is used by loop guard. All right. So where that bridge insurance has been activated. Okay, so let's discuss. So when this bridge insurance, I'm writing a small BA. Okay. So when the bridge insurance is activated where? On operational port. Okay. Then what happened? Then the port always send the BPDU regardless of the port role. Okay, they always send the BPDU regardless of the port role, what they are working into. Okay, so BPDU essentially become what? They will become the hello mechanism. They'll become the hello mechanism. All right. So hello mechanism between where? Between the pairs of interconnected switches.
Directly interconnected?
Yes, directly interconnected. So BPDU essentially become a hello mechanism between pairs of interconnected switches. Okay, that is directly connected, you can say. So what happened when a port, that port particularly is configured with BA? Let's say this is the switch, and this particular port is configured as the BA. All right, that is required to receive what? That is required to receive the BPDUs. All right. So if that particular port does not receive the BPDUs, it goes where? It goes to the blocking state.
ये कड़े पेट के लिए नहीं है,
Okay. And
ढीला
thus
डाला
both
पेट
the
के
ends
लिए
of
है।
the, sorry, please mute yourself.
बॉडी
So
शेपर है ये, सिर्फ कम थोड़ी ना करता है,
so both the
सिर्फ
end
ड्रेस
of the
वगैरह
link
पहनने
must,
में थोड़ा अच्छा लगे इसलिए बॉडी शेपर है ये।
yes, Shavi, please mute yourself. All right. Okay, so what happened? So if the port does not receive the BPDUs, it goes into the blocking state. So thus, both end of the link, both end of the link must have BA enabled. Okay. So one thing I would like to highlight, the bridge insurance is enabled by default. Okay. So it is enabled by default. So you can disable it only globally. Okay. So bridge assurance is enabled only on the spanning tree network ports that are point-to-point links.
Every 2 seconds, ma'am, it will send. Correct.
Yeah, yes, every 2 seconds it's correct. You can disable bridge assurance by writing as no spanning tree bridge assurance command. So every 2 seconds they are going to tell you. Okay. So
So what
one
happen
thing,
if I am disabling bridge assurance? So what will happen?
okay. So if your network support bridge assurance, use it instead of the loop guard. Okay. So if you do not use the loop guard and the bridge assurance at the same time, if the unidirectional problem exists before the links come up, then the loop guard will not going to detect that issue and bridge
Can you, ma'am,
assurance.
draw? Can you little bit
Yeah,
draw?
yeah, sure. I'll explain. See, let's say these are your network devices, switch, router, okay, network devices, let's say.
Hmm.
So network devices, they support what? Bridge assurance, right? And you can use that bridge assurance instead of the loop guard, right? Which I have just tested, right? So when you don't use the loop guard and the bridge assurance at the same time, okay, you will be not using both the ones. Then what is going to be happen if the unidirectional unidirectional problem exists before the link comes up, okay, then what is going to be happen? The loop guard will not going to detect this issue and the bridge assurance as well. That is why we are using this though, and this is enabled by default. Understood?
So if I don't not you did not use low BA like bridge assurance or loop guard, if I want to use UDLD on that port, so it is fine or not?
It is fine, but you know that ULD, that is unidirectional link detection you are talking about, right? So
Yeah,
it is
correct,
a
ma'am.
layer two. Yeah, it is a layer two protocol that works with layer one mechanisms in order to determine the physical status of the link, right?
Yeah,
All
generally
right.
we are using on fiber side.
Right, perfect. Okay, so by default, that UDLD feature is also disabled. Okay, so you have to enable on the fiber optic LAN ports. Okay, you remember this thing, right? So
Yeah, ma'am.
device on the both the ends must support UDLD for the protocol that is successfully identify and disable the unidirectional links. Yeah, you can use the UDLD option for the same.
Okay, because now, ma'am, why I'm asking if every two
Mhm,
second or maybe the 1 second,
mhm,
BPDU packet will send it,
mhm,
and if I have a let's suppose 1,000 plus
mhm,
VLANs in my environment,
mhm, mhm.
so that will be create a trouble.
Trouble, right? So one thing, what is my suggestion there? Okay, so if you are taking this scenario, it is recommended to use both UDLD also plus
Okay,
bridge assurance also. Okay, why? Because bridge assurance, they protect your network against the STP failures,
correct, ma'am.
right? And when we talk about the UDLD, they will be protect your network against miswiring.
Misfiring or maybe the cable faulty, maybe
Right.
the transmit side or maybe the receive side.
Right. Yeah. So these two is the specific part. They are playing it as a role, right? So you can use the bridge assurance in the multi-vendor environment also, right?
So it will support.
Yeah, it will
Correct.
support. Yeah.
It's not
So
a Cisco proprietary.
yeah, it is not a Cisco proprietary. They will be going to support in the multi-vendor environment. When UDLT comes into the market, it is a proprietary tool, right? It is a proprietary protocol that you can only use with the Cisco equipment. So this is the thing. So my recommendation is to use both. That's why.
Okay.
Okay, understood? So this is the thing. All right.
There's
So
one more term called
mhm.
backbone fast. It is used for what?
So backbone fast will, I think that's come later on when we talk about the VPCs and port channels in detail. Okay. So we are just here up to the UDLD and the BA part, up to there. All right. Okay, one thing I would like to ask from you guys. Okay, so I will be giving you two review part. Okay, 2 to 3 review part. So let me see how many participants will get back with the correct answers. Okay, so it's a Q&A round there. All right. So Abhas, Shavi, Gurpreet, Akshay, Jaswinder, Jisler, Venkatesh, Ravi. Okay, I have just see the chat there. Ma'am, I have one doubt. Are you going to provide the training for entire CCNP course or it's just a demo session from your side? Because we shall share the status. Yeah, we will be going, just in the response for this one, we will be going to cover the whole training for the entire CCNP DC course. And today we will be starting from the section 1. That is your implementing data center switching protocols. All right. So I will be giving you one question in the chat, guys. Please respond. What could be the perfect answer for it? Yes, Jaswinder. Is it clear? Rakesh, Akshay. I want your responses in the chat, guys. I want everybody will give me the correct answer. I think I'll be able to. Sorry, everyone in the meeting. Sorry. The questions is with the only with the Jaswinder. Yes, participants. What could be the answer for this one, which I have just highlighted in the chat? Are you able to see the question in the chat? Okay, we'll get the response there. Okay, one participant has only answered. What about others? Rakesh, Shavi, Abbas, what are your answers on this? Ravi, Jaswinder, Akshay?
On it.
On it, all
Give me
right.
2 minutes.
Sure, sure. Take your time. Okay, Akshay, Rakesh, Abbas. Okay. Abbas, why you marked 3 answers as the correct ones? Yes, yes, yes. Can you just frame this thing to me?
Sorry, it was typo. This moment. I just got confused and I thought it's a multiple questions.
Oh, no, one option is the correct answer. So the question,
I
which
didn't read the
statement
starting,
regarding the,
so
yeah, which statement
yes.
is correct regarding the STP port? So you have to mark one as a correct one. So what it gonna be, you have to answer that one only. Okay, everybody is going with the D. So, okay, I want, if you have this answer, please explain why you have select this answer. Yes, anybody would like to state why you have selected this answer?
Because my workstation and server
There could
STP
be
is not
another
working
answer.
on that
Yeah,
port.
one by one. I want one by one responses. Yes, Abbas, you tell me first what you are telling.
It can be B as well, since it's Cisco proprietary.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It can be second.
Okay. Rakesh, now you tell me why you have the D option as the correct one.
Yeah, because the server side or maybe the workstation side, the ports STP does not work. Okay, and it's not harmful for our environment. So that's why we are using port edge.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's why you have marked as a correct answer for this. What about Ravi? Why you? Okay, Shavi has given the answer. So Shavi, can you tell me why you have selected D? Yes, Shavi, are you there? Okay, Gisler, can you just tell me why you have selected this answer as D? Akshay, Akshay,
Hello.
Jaswinder. Yeah, tell me.
Uh, Endpoints will not set the BPDUs, right?
Okay, all right. What about Akshay? What is your opinion on the answer? Yes, Akshay, why you have selected this so? Jaswinder? All right. So now I will be going to explain you the situation why you mark this answer as a correct one. So see, this is the detailing for it. The STP edge port enter into the forwarding state immediately. Okay, thus it should be configured on ports that are connected to the workstations and servers, right? The first thing. However, the STP edge port, it's a layer 2 STP feature, not the layer 3 one. So furthermore, that Cisco port fast is just the name as the edge port feature. So one, the transitions from initialization state to the forwarding state while bypassing that listening and learning stage there. Okay. So that is why you will be having the correct answer that it should be configured on the ports that are connected to the workstations and the servers. All right, guys, understood up to there?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.
One more
Now,
thing.
yes,
STP
tell me.
Edge and STP Port Fast. They both are same, right?
Yes, we call this as port fast as a short abbreviation. Edge port and the port fast. Yeah, these are the same. Okay, so now I have framed one more
So the
question.
statement is correct, right? I mean the B.
Yeah,
B should be as well the
yeah,
correct.
it is correct. Yeah, it is correct.
B. I mean B
Yeah.
and D both should be the correct answer.
No, 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 no. The correct answer would be the D only, not the B.
But they are doing the same, right? STP Edge
But
port and
they are talking about the statement regarding STP edge port is correct. Okay. So they are talking about the complement Cisco port fast feature. That is not. Okay. It should be configured on the ports that is connected to the workstations and servers, not with the B option. All right. So I have framed one more question with the explanation I'm just going to tell you. Firstly, mark the correct answer, guys. Yes, I need your responses. So this is the last question we have for today's session. So today we have just covered about the STP detailing for the same that falls under the implementation of the data center switching protocols. So tomorrow we have the session on the same time, 9 to 11. We will be going to explore the PC port channels overview and the virtual port channels detailing for the tomorrow session. All right. So please answer immediately, then we can wind up the call, guys. BPDU card. All right. Perfect. Okay, so the correct answer for this particular question is the BPDU guard. All right. Sorry. All right. Okay. So let's meet tomorrow. Till the time, guys, take care of yourself. All right. Bye bye, all. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, ma'am.
Vikas, hello.
Yeah, tell me about.
Um, can we have a topology, like a complicated topology to understand more better? I
Okay.
mean, see, the three switches we are mainly not using in the data center, so I just need a big overview.
Okay. So yeah, Avas, for that we will be like for the real hands-on practice you will be performing on the labs. At that moment you will be getting the full topology scenarios, like what you are working with. Like if you have time to watch the configuration for the VXLAN, which we have discussed on the very first day, you can see the detailed topology for it. I have shared in that video, but that falls under the section number 5. So after the section number 5 we will be working on that topologies in detail as a hardware one. So from that onwards you will be getting all the ones.
Okay.
All right. So for that reference, if you want to look something, you can refer the first video we have as a demo. All right. Okay. So let's wind up the call, guys, for today. So let's meet tomorrow. Till the time, take care of yourself. Good night to you all. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. Take care.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Bye bye, all. Bye.
Hello? Hello, ma'am. Are you there?
Yes,
Okay.
just there.
Wait a minute, ma'am. Let my other colleagues be available. Provide. Hello? Hello, Akshay, sir. Hello, Akshay and Ravi. Are you there?
Yes, Jaswinder.
Actually, ma'am, we have enrolled to know Vijay, sir. We have talked with I think Vishal and Raghavi. They have enrolled us for Vijay, sir. And I don't think so. Okay, we are joining the right batch. I don't think so.
Okay. So what you are wanting it for? Like it's you have joined for the data center or you have joined for
We have joined for data center, ma'am.
okay. So for the data center, we are just covering this one, the core, that is core technologies implementation.
Wait a minute, ma'am. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, ma'am, for keep you waiting. Sorry, ma'am.
It's fine. Just
Actually, ma'am, is there Vijay sir is available for the batch, or right now just you are available for the batch?
I'm only the one, like Akshay and Ravi is there in the conversation,
Yes.
and you are in the conversation for this session we are left with. So
Okay.
are you looking for some other trainer, Jaswinder?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we are told that Vijay sir will take the class for DCCOR.
Okay.
He has experience of like 10 years in Cisco
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
all that. And Vijay, I think Vishal has also shared the videos of the Vijay sir. So we are expecting Vijay. Uh,
Okay.
from last class
So
also, I told you that I was in the last weekday class.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
left. That's why I left, because I was expecting Vijay sir, Vijay Pandey sir.
Okay. All right. So no problem, Jaswinder. For that particular reason, you can talk to the team members so that they can guide you more appropriately. Okay. But in this course, you will be also learning the same from me. Like you are going to learn from the Vijay sir scenario, but you are
Actually,
comfortable with
actually,
the.
so actually, ma'am, sorry to interrupt you again. Actually, the course where they sent to us,
Mhm.
like they are just covering one theory part and then do the practical, and again
Mhm.
they do the theory and then the practical and go with the slow pace. So that's
Mhm.
why we enroll to the batch because we
Mhm.
have from a network field, we have the
Mhm.
knowledge of network, but
What is your
we have a
designation?
passion to just enroll
Mhm.
for the DC core and seeking for
Mhm.
the growth. That's what we
Mhm.
are here. So we told that the Vijay sir will be the best tutor and have the industry standards
Mhm.
for implementation. That's why we are asking for the Vijay.
Okay, so for Jaswinder, you can talk to the team member, so that will guide you more appropriately. Because
Okay,
I'm the trainer there, so I will be going to assist you toward the same journey. But yes, if you have some specific choice to move with, you can talk to the team for the same. All right.
definitely, ma'am. Definitely. Thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Okay, done, done, done.